So I've been playing a lot of Valorant recently, and I've only been playing for about 2 weeks. I want to say I tried it out one time, like not when it released, but a couple of months after its release. And I thought Valorant was going to be a game that I was going to be grinding when it first came out. And I ended up not really playing it at all, except for like one or two matches, because during that time I was kind of addicted to Overwatch and Rust. So I really wasn't interested in playing another game too much because I already had like my main games like Rocket League, Risk of Rain 2, Rust, and then every now and then I would play CSGO. But Overwatch was the game that I was grinding the most when I wasn't playing Rust or Rocket League. And just recently, like this past month, I haven't really been playing games. I've been looking at the Steam sale trying to see what games I wanted to buy because I'm kind of getting a little bit burnt out of Rust. And they're really, like, Rust is a really grindy game, and it can be very stressful when you're playing alone and then you have to wait for your teams to get on home after work. And even like for them, it's very stressful when they get home from work trying to grind Rust when like they may be tired and then like other teams are just camping your door. There's just a lot of stuff that can happen between Rust that makes it a little bit hard to grind. And when it comes to like competitive games like Valorant, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Rocket League, you really only have to play one game, right? Like one match. And one match can last like an hour, can last an hour and 30 minutes, depending on what game you're playing. But they can last that long, or they can be as little as 30 minutes, 20 minutes if someone forfeits, 5 minutes if you're playing Rocket League, or even less if someone forfeits. So it's really like, it's less of a grind because you get to play one match and it's against like different people. When you're on Rust, you're sort of like in this set server where you can choose to go to another server, but you lose all your progress that you've made in that one server. So yeah, it's a lot different. It's more like super grindy, which I love survival games, but Rust is more like a PvP survival than it is like PvE survival. There's a lot of other survival PvE games out there that I would probably rather try and play than Rust, which I need to get away from Rust for a little bit in order to go back to it. Like, I've always been playing Rust for a very long time and I love the hell out of Rust. It's just right now I'm not really feeling it, so I'll probably wait a couple months to play it again. This happened to me like last year. I stopped playing it for like 6 months, and then I started grinding it again like at the beginning of this year. So we'll see what happens if they add like major changes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Valorant. It took me, I think, a week until I was able to play competitive, because I think you have to win, not just play, but you have to win, I want to say 10 or maybe 15 matches in unrated before they even allow you to play competitive. So yeah, you have to do that before you even get into it. So I will say my very first game was very toxic. When I joined, I was playing with one of my friends, and when I joined into a lobby, I didn't know what the bomb site looked like. I didn't know where to plant the bomb. I didn't know what the bomb actually looked like to defuse. Like, I was just skipping through the tutorial that it gave you. Like, who really pays attention, right? Like, I was like, this is kind of like CSGO. You know, you aim, click the heads, and you'll be good to go. And for the most part, it can get you, I think, a lot of kills if you have good aim, right? But obviously this game is based off using abilities, kind of like Overwatch, to utilize them to their best potential, to be able to make plays with your teammates and coordinate the attacks or the defense whenever like you need to use your abilities to defend something or to defuse a bomb site or whatever. But my first game, I didn't have any idea where the bomb was or where to plant the bomb. My teammates were yelling at me. They were like random teammates, I want to say, like they were just yelling at me like, what are you doing, you idiot? And like they started cussing me out and like saying other unnecessary things. But I was like, oh my God, this is barely my first legit game. And then the second thing happened in the second game, and I was like, is it gonna be like this the whole time? So I just decided to mute people like right from the start. I turned off voice comps and everything. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I was still learning the game. I can understand people's frustration simply because it's like they're watching a new play. But I thought I was gonna get put against other people who were as new as me. But there's really no way to tell from what I've notice. So yeah, but other than that, it's been pretty fun. Like, it's sort of hard to play whenever you're not like communicating with your team. And I don't know, I want to put the blame on myself as well for not being able to handle toxicity, but as well, like a lot of people are really toxic if you make like one mistake or you do something wrong or not the way that they wanted you to do it. So yeah, but I mean, I don't think it really matters in my rank. I'm literally bronze 2 about to be bronze 3. Or maybe I'm bronze 3 about to be silver. One or the other. It's not that much of a difference regardless. So it's probably a game that I'm going to be grinding, and not like 20 games every day, but more like 3 or 4 games before I like head to bed, or maybe during the day, depending on if I have work or not. And then just switch to another game. So yeah, there's certain things that I've learned about Valorant, and I guess if the only way you're gonna know if this game is for you, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions, basically, right? Because if you're coming home from work and you just want to get into like the gunfights and just have a good time, because everyone's experience is different and everyone considers like what is fun to them is like completely different from someone else. And Overwatch and Valorant are two completely different games, right? I would compare this game more to Counter-Strike than any other game, even though it's still different than CSGO. But the way the game plays, like how slow it is, Valorant and CSGO are definitely like up there as being slow. I would want to say Rainbow Siege is also slow paced, but like a tactical slow paced FPS shooter. But I've never played Rainbow games, so I don't know how like true that is. It just looks like the type of game that CSGO and Valorant would be. Now, if you take all of the abilities away, then it's obviously basically Counter-Strike with different maps and different like animations and stuff. And what makes this different than Counter-Strike is just the abilities. Or if you add abilities to Counter-Strike, that's basically what it is. But I really love the fact that they implemented the different abilities, the different ultimates for different characters, just like Overwatch, right? Like what makes Overwatch fun is like every hero has its specific role: DPS, tank. Even Apex Legends has that, right? Whenever you're playing Battle Royale, you have like your healers, you have your DPS and supports, and your tanky like legends. So I would say they took ideas from that, but made it into a tactical FPS shooter. And I wasn't really too sure how it was going to work, because when you start adding other elements of abilities and ultimates and stuff like that into a competitive, not only a competitive, but a tactical FPS game that's more reliant on slow pace and aim. And Counter-Strike is one of those games that's heavily relied on like crosshair placement, aim, holding corners and peaks. And I would say this game also has that, to where you do benefit from holding angles and holding peaks, and obviously playing slow pace, because you're not going to be able to run and gun the whole time. This is not that type of game. Unlike Overwatch and Apex Legends, where you constantly want to be strafing left and right and be running and getting high ground and stuff like that and using your abilities to run away. This game is completely different. So if you play Counter-Strike, you're going to know exactly, like, you're going to feel right at home, except for the added abilities that you're going to have to learn how to utilize. And every character has a different ability that you're going to have to learn. Not all of them, but at least the ones that are interesting to you. So it was probably best to get into like a practice game or a tutorial, or just the practice lobby, the training arena areas, and see what abilities you fits like your play style, right? And I would recommend that you have two. It's kind of like Overwatch, where it's good to have 2 tanks that you play with, 2 DPS that you're decent with, and 2 supports that you play with, because on the chance that someone takes the character that you main, you're at least not useless and you're able to utilize the other characters. So I'm still trying to find my mains who I want to use for the majority of my climbing the ranks and stuff. So far, I've been liking, I don't even know their names, but there's this dude that, who a lot of them can kind of flash, but he has like a long beard. I think it's a ginger. I don't know his name, but he can flash like through walls and stuff. It throws like his ultimate's kind of an earthquake, and I think that's pretty cool. I've been enjoying him. I've also been enjoying the Cypher. I think it's Cypher. He has like a little camera that you can put on the walls, and also throw like some kind of nade that whenever someone passes through, it tells you that someone's passing through it, and you can kind of see him on the map. And then another character that I've been trying is Sova. So far, those are the three characters that I've been using the most. I've played Jet. I don't think Jet fits my playstyle. I've played Reyna. She definitely doesn't fit my playstyle. I'm more like a passive player, so Cypher or anyone that requires more of a defensive role in a supporting role, I think it's more beneficial for me. I don't want to play healer, that's for sure, like Sage. I don't know if there's another healer in the game, but I know Sage is a healer. I like the I'm still trying to unlock her, but I like the toxic girl, the one that she can throw toxins all over the map and stuff. I don't know her name, but she seems pretty cool. That's the person that I'm working on unlocking next, just to figure out if that's who I want to play and see how it feels in an actual match. Because even if you try them in the training areas, you may think they fit your like play style, but once you try them out in game, you kind of feel that it doesn't really suit you well. So really, if you have the aiming down, you just have to get used to all the guns. And most of the time, people only use 4 guns. You have the Vandal, the Phantom. I think the Sheriff is one of them. At least I use the Sheriff a lot at the beginning of the one round. You also have an AWP like you do in CSGO. I think the Vandal is pretty much the AK from Counter-Strike. And the Phantom is basically the M4 with the suppressor from CSGO. I know there's some shotguns and there's some SMGs. I don't really use SMGs too much. I don't know other guns basically, but Vandal, Phantom are the 2 main guns that I use. I recently been using the gun that's above the Phantom. It's like cheaper than the Phantom, and it's like a FN foul if you've ever played Call of Duty. It's like a 1-tap gun, so you have to like spam and keep tapping your mouse. I really like that, especially if you click heads. It's like so good, or even body chest, like 2 shots and they're instantly dead. And I really enjoy that gun. I've been popping off at that gun. But it can be very hard to use if like 3 people just all of a sudden get into you or surround you. And I've noticed that I've been saying like a lot. So I do apologize for the word that I'm using very often. But I've also used Phoenix. Phoenix was the first one that I've used. And I hated all his abilities except for his ultimate. Like his Q is very beneficial, I feel like. I've gotten so many kills with his Q. It's insane how good it is. It's good for like calling out where people are. It's good for getting kills. It's good for scouting to make sure no one's there. I guess Cypher's camera is also good. I'm not even going to say Cypher because I don't know his name. I don't even know if that's his actual name. I don't know why it's in my mind or embedded into my brain that it's Cypher. I could be wrong. It's probably not even Cypher. So yeah, Phoenix was the first one that I've used. That's the only ability that I like. I mean, it's kind of cool that you can kind of heal yourself whenever you throw a nade or you throw a wall down. But other than that, I'm super bad at flashes. I end up flashing my teammates. I end up setting my team on fire with like my abilities, and it just really sucks, and it's really terrible for my play style that I'm just so bad. I've never used smokes or stunts in CSGO, and I'm definitely not going to use them in this game because I'm terrible at them. So I'm going to stick away from any character that uses those unless it's the character that can flash through the walls, and even then I still flash my teammates. Reyna, I think, is the only one that doesn't flash her teammates. I could be wrong. Maybe there's other characters, but I will have to use all of them in order to know. So far, the characters that I've been using don't even have flashes, so I'm perfectly fine playing with the characters that I've been using. Today, I've only played like 4 games maybe, and I was using the guy that uses the spy cam camera. I don't know his name. Let's just put it that way. So what I want to say though, this game is definitely not going to be for everybody. Before, like, I've been going off topic a lot. This game is not going to be for everybody. Some people want to get home and get straight into the action, like Overwatch. Overwatch is a game where you can just jump straight into it. You can automatically pick your heroes. You can automatically start shooting things. You can automatically start healing. Like, it's a very fast-paced game. I would say even Apex Legends is a fast-paced game, depending on where you land and how you play it. And if you're playing arenas on Apex Legends, it's definitely a fast game. If you're playing Counter-Strike, it's definitely a slow game. And this game might be for you. Now, the abilities may ruin the immersion for you because you don't like that in a tactical FPS game. But that's going to be up to you to find out. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already tried it and seen that it wasn't for them, or it was for them, because some people have transferred from CSGO and made it to the Valorant pro scene, or just switched in general just to have a good time, whether it's streaming or just playing with some friends. But I have heard a lot of people don't like just standing there and holding corners and waiting for something to happen. I remember when I played Call of Duty, Search and Destroy was my least favorite game mode. Simply because if you die that round, you had to sit there and watch everybody else play. And it felt so terrible and it was so boring. It took me a while to like Search and Destroy. Even when I played my first game of Counter-Strike, I didn't want to play. One of my friends wanted to play, and I played it. Then I played with some other streamers, and I didn't really like it too much. But I played. It was fun with friends. It took me a while to get into Counter-Strike because I hated camping. I hated waiting corners. I hated watching sites. And then if you're last alive, the pressure on you is so intense that it just makes you nervous because everyone's telling you what to do, where they're at. They're looking at you if you mess up. They'll laugh at you or they'll call you out or whatever it may be, right? Like, there's so much pressure if you're the last person left that I never enjoyed being the last person left. So it was just a game that I didn't want to come home from work and sit there and watch a wall and wait 2 minutes or 3 minutes for someone to push and maybe even get the kill, but most likely die. Eventually, I don't know what happened. I started enjoying those type of games. CSGO became fun. I guess Battle Royale seemed even slower than Search and Destroy games. But I've come from like Halo and Call of Duty Capture the Flags. Capture the Flag has always been my favorite game mode ever since I played it on Halo. I don't know why it's not as popular as S&D. I hate S&D. Even now, I still hate S&D, but I've gotten used to it, and I do enjoy the playstyle that it provides, and it works for these type of games. I don't know if it would work. Like, I don't know if Valorant would work well with Capture the Flag. I remember at one point, since they wanted to make Fortnite competitive, I was thinking to myself that why don't they make a Capture the Flag game mode for Fortnite to where it's, I don't know, team-based, right? Because Fortnite literally has, or had at least, the ability to, they've already established something new with the building. If they really wanted to make it into the esports scene, they could have done a game mode, whether it be domination, capture the flag, even search and destroy. I don't think search and destroy would work as well, but domination or capture the flag or hardpoint, something along those lines would definitely work so well with Fortnite, because building is a whole new aspect to a game, and adding it into those game modes is definitely huge. Imagine defending a person trying to catch the flag, or you're trying to take the flag or whatever. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could go on, or even domination. I think domination would probably be the perfect game mode. Capture the flag could be a little bit iffy, simply because what people will have to do is constantly wall whenever someone takes the flag. But domination, imagine having like point A, point B, and point C, and it would be, people would be hard, like fighting so hard for B, because you would have to build constantly, shoot people's things out constantly, and like I think it would be super fun. But I don't know, maybe Fortnite already missed the mark. Maybe people just, it wouldn't be Battle Royale, of course, right? But I knew Battle Royale was a pretty slow game mode since I started playing in H1Z1, then eventually went to PUBG, then eventually went to, I want to say Fortnite or Black Ops, and whatever came out, then Warzone, and then Like there was a whole bunch of other battle royale games, and they were just all pretty slow because people would wait to the last like round to get into a fight. And I feel like for me at least, I didn't want to like rush in there and then just die and then have to find another match again. But I also didn't like camping, so it was a very battle royale was very slow paced for me. And even CS, that's when I started like playing CS:GO because honestly, it was faster paced. Eventually, I got to the point where I was able to get kills. I I was starting to have fun because whenever you get into those intense moments to where you're the last one left, or you have the whole team, the enemy team pushing one site, and you're the only one watching that site, and then you start popping off, it just feels good. That's the whole purpose of S&D, especially when you were playing, like I was playing Call of Duty and you popped off, everyone was watching you. And it was like, hell yeah, you know, you get the kills and it's just fucking awesome. It's a good feeling. But like I said, I can understand that someone doesn't want to come home and then just stare at a wall. They want to be constantly in the fight, which is why Call of Duty used to be so popular. I don't know if it's still popular now. Most people wanted to play like a shooter game that they can just get home, relax. I think that's why Rocket League does so well. Maybe Warzone does well. League of Legends does well. You get right into the action. There's a lot of other games that people play. I don't know what's mainly popular right now. On Twitch is different popularity than it is like the actual gaming community, because not every game that's on Twitch is as popular as Twitch makes it seem, right? Just because Valorant's not at the top or Rust is not at the top doesn't mean that it's not being played a lot by people around the world. So yeah, it took me a while, and you're gonna have to play and figure it out. I've known a lot of streamers that try to play Valorant, and this game just wasn't for them. They didn't want to sit around. They didn't want to wait and just aim at a wall and watch corners. Their body literally wasn't used to just sitting there. Like their hand wanted to move. They wanted a WASD side to side. So they just didn't know how to be patient. So I can understand that, right? I can understand it's not for everybody. It's a little bit too slow paced for most people, or some people, not most. That's why it's kind of good to have like a variety types of games, different types of game styles. And I'm honestly excited for Halo to be coming out, and I'm glad that it's going to be free. And I'm definitely going to be grinding Halo. I don't know if I'll stream. I'm definitely not going to be doing videos anymore, like videos when it comes to gaming. But I do still want to do like video reviews every now and then. If not, I'll just stick to podcasting. We'll see. But I do want to stream every now and then. It's kind of hard for me to stream simply because it's hard to enjoy a game whenever you're streaming and then people are watching you, right? Because I'm trying to enjoy the game my way. I'm trying to learn the game my way. And if someone's in chat telling you how to play, or like judging everything that you do, the way that you do it, and thinking that you're doing it wrong, it's kind of hard. So it's just definitely harder to play when you're streaming compared to when you're not streaming, which is why a lot of professional gamers or esport players never stream as much when they're playing their scrims, because it's definitely hard to focus on the game. And for me, it shouldn't really matter simply because I'm not trying to be a pro at any game, but I just do want to have fun. And sometimes it's hard to have fun whenever you're streaming and you're constantly, even though it doesn't happen to me, but it's that worry that it will happen, and that nerves or anxiety that someone's watching or someone will be watching that is going to be super judgmental on your gameplay or how you play. Maybe you play too passive. Maybe you play like an idiot and you're rushing everywhere when you shouldn't. And that's kind of like the scary part. Maybe I need to get out of my mindset and just have a good time. And then maybe I'll be able to stream. But I'm not going to be doing any more like gameplay videos. It's just too much for me now. But I'll still be doing a lot of podcasting. Even if it never goes anywhere, that's perfectly fine. I enjoy it. I think it's a good time for me talking about stuff and then still being able to get off and play games, or play games beforehand and still review movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So yeah, just a short little episode. I wanted to talk about my experience with Valorant. Wanted to talk about that this game may or may not be for everybody, right? That's any game. That can be said about any game. But yeah, just a short little topic. But that's all I wanted to say. Sorry if I used a lot of repetitive words today. I don't know. My mind was stuttering, I guess, using likes and buts. So, anyways, have a lovely rest of your night. Appreciate you for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one. And be safe. Bye.